The mining station floated in the darkness of space. It was called Kepler 7 and it hung near a huge gas planet named Aurelius Prime. The station looked like it was made of glass, catching the orange light from a faraway star. Inside the station, everything seemed normal and quiet. Commander Lisa Morgan sat at her desk looking at reports on her computer screen. The reports showed how much metal and gas they had collected that day. It was boring work, but someone had to do it. She had been doing this job for 3 years now, watching over the miners and making sure everything ran smoothly. Jake Sullivan worked at the communication desk nearby. He was young, maybe 25 years old, and he usually spent his time listening to static and random space noise. But today, something changed. Jake sat up straight in his chair. His hands moved fast over his computer controls. "Commander, we have a problem," Jake said. His voice sounded worried. "I'm getting a distress signal, but it's not from any human ship." Lisa stood up and walked over to Jake's station. She looked at the screen. Strange symbols moved down the display. Symbols she had never seen before. The computer was trying to translate them, but it was having trouble. The symbols kept changing and shifting. "Can you clean up the signal?" Lisa asked. "I'm trying," Jake said. He typed more commands into his computer. "Wait, I think I've got it. The translator is working now." Words appeared on the screen in English. Lisa read them out loud. "Please help us. The Vorsak Empire has come to harvest our young. We are the Zalathi. We have heard tales of the Deathworlders from Earth. You are our only hope." The control room went completely silent. Everyone stopped what they were doing and looked at the screen. They all knew what Deathworlders meant. It was what the other aliens called humans. Earth was a death world to them. A planet so dangerous that most alien species would die there in minutes. The gravity was too strong. The air had too much oxygen. There were too many diseases. Animals that would eat you. Weather that could kill you. Humans thought it was normal. Aliens thought it was insane. "Where is this signal coming from?" Lisa asked. Jake checked his instruments. 3 star systems away. "It's coming from the Zalathi homeworld. According to our database, they're a peaceful species. They don't even have weapons on their ships." "And the Vorsak?" Lisa asked. "The database says they're aggressive. They take what they want from weaker species. They have a big military fleet." Jake paused. "Commander, long-range scanners show 40 Vorsak ships already in orbit around the Zalathi planet." Lisa felt her jaw tighten. She thought about Earth and its history. Humans had always protected the weak. It was how they survived on their dangerous planet. By working together. By fighting for each other. She turned to look at Ryan Cooper, who was in charge of weapons and tactics. Ryan was a big man, built like a soldier. He had served in Earth's military before joining the mining station. "Ryan, how many human ships could we get here if we called for help?" Lisa asked. Ryan thought for a moment. "There are several mining ships in nearby systems. A few cargo haulers. Maybe a couple of old military ships that patrol this sector. If we send out an emergency call right now, we might get 15 ships here in time to help." 15 against 40, someone said from across the room. "Those aren't good odds," Lisa smiled. It wasn't a happy smile. It was the kind of smile that humans got before a fight. They have 40 ships built for normal space battles. We would have 15 ships built by humans, built by a species that dropped nuclear bombs on itself before it even reached space, built by people who learned to kill before they learned to write. She looked around the room at her crew. They were miners, not soldiers. But they were human. That meant something. "Send out the emergency call," Lisa ordered. "Tell every human ship in range that we have a Code 7 situation. Innocent lives in danger. Response needed immediately." Jake started typing. "What should I tell the Zalathi?" Lisa thought for a moment. "Tell them the Deathworlders are coming." The message went out into space. It traveled faster than light, reaching human ships across the sector. On cargo ships, captains stopped what they were doing and changed course. On mining vessels, crews started checking weapons they hoped they would never have to use. On the 3 military patrol ships in the area, soldiers began putting on their armor. The response came quickly. Ship after ship reported in. They would come. They would fight. It didn't matter that they were outnumbered. It didn't matter that the Vorsak were stronger on paper. Humans had been fighting things stronger than them since the dawn of time. An hour later, Lisa received another message from the Zalathi. This time it included video. She saw them for the first time. The Zalathi looked like butterflies mixed with people. They had wings that you could see through. Their eyes were huge and had many parts like insect eyes. They looked fragile. like they would break if you touched them too hard. The Zalathi who appeared on screen was shaking with fear. "Human Commander, we are grateful," you answered. "But the Vorsak are too strong. They have already destroyed our defense satellites. They say they will take half our children to serve them. Perhaps if we negotiate, if we give them what they want, fewer will die." Lisa felt anger rise in her chest. On Earth, humans had a word for people who took children. They called them monsters, and humans had learned long ago how to deal with monsters. "No negotiations," Lisa said firmly. "You asked for help from Deathworlders. You're going to get it. We don't make deals with those who hurt children." The Zelathi's large eyes somehow got even bigger. "But you are so few. The Vorsak have terrorized this part of the galaxy for hundreds of years. No one has ever beaten them." Lisa leaned closer to the screen. "That's because they've never fought humans before. We come from a world where everything tries to kill us from the moment we're born. We survived by becoming more dangerous than anything that hunted us. The Vorsak are about to learn what that means." She cut the connection and turned to her crew. "Prepare the station's defenses. Mount the mining lasers as weapons. Get the maintenance robots ready for combat. We might be a mining station, but we're a human mining station. That means we're dangerous." The crew jumped into action. They had 6 hours before the other human ships would arrive. 6 hours to turn their peaceful mining station into something that could fight. On Earth, humans had turned farming tools into weapons for thousands of years. These miners were about to do the same thing with their equipment. Jake looked up from his station. "Commander, I'm picking up communications between the Vorsak ships. They're laughing at us. They're saying the Deathworlders are nothing but primitive animals who got lucky finding spaceflight." Lisa's smile got wider and scarier. "Let them laugh. They won't be laughing for long." Outside, the first human ship dropped out of hyperspace. It was an old cargo hauler that had been modified with armor and weapons. It looked ugly and beaten up, held together with welded patches and hope. But it was human-built, which meant it could take punishment that would destroy most alien ships. More ships began arriving. Each one looked different. Humans didn't build their ships to look pretty. They built them to survive, to fight, to win. The aliens who saw them thought they looked like junk. They didn't understand that humans had learned to turn junk into weapons. It was how they conquered their death world. As the human fleet gathered, Lisa sent one more message to the Zalathi. "Watch and learn why the galaxy calls us Deathworlders. We're about to show the Vorsak that there are worse things in the universe than death. There's humans protecting those who can't protect themselves." The clock counted down. The battle was coming, and for the first time in their history, the Vorsak were about to face an enemy that didn't know how to lose. Captain Adam Pierce stood on the bridge of his ship, the Relentless. The ship was big and ugly, covered in thick armor plates that could smash through asteroids without getting a scratch. It had been a warship in Earth's fleet before being sold to the private sector. Adam had bought it cheap and turned it into something even more dangerous. He watched through the main window as more human ships dropped out of hyperspace. Each arrival sent ripples through space that his sensors picked up. 15 ships had answered the call. It wasn't a lot, but Adam knew it would be enough. It had to be. His executive officer, Emma Watson, stood beside him. She was reading reports from each ship as they arrived. Emma was short but tough, with scars on her arms from her time fighting in Earth's jungle wars. She had fought against rebels in the Amazon rainforest where every plant could poison you, and every animal wanted to eat you. "We have 3 military patrol ships," Emma reported. 5 modified mining vessels with drilling lasers that can cut through ship hulls. 4 cargo haulers with improvised weapons. 2 private mercenary ships. And us. She looked up from her tablet. "The Vorsak have 40 warships, all built for combat." Adam nodded. "Good, I was worried it would be too easy." Emma raised an eyebrow. "Sir, we're outnumbered more than 2 to 1. We're human," Adam said simply. "We've been outnumbered since the first humans stood up on 2 legs. Remember your history, Emma. 300 Spartans held off thousands. A few hundred British soldiers fought off thousands at Rorke's Drift. Being outnumbered is when humans fight best." A communication request came through. It was from the Zalathi. Adam accepted it, and the screen filled with the image of several butterfly-like aliens. They looked terrified. Their wings shook like leaves in a storm. "Human Captain," the lead Zalathi said. Its voice came through the translator as high and musical. "We are grateful for your presence, but we must speak honestly. The Vorsak have never lost a battle. They are strong and ruthless. Perhaps if we offer them more than they asked for, they will leave some of our children alone. Adam felt disgusted. These aliens were ready to give up without even trying to fight. But then he remembered that not every species came from a death world. Not everyone had to fight for every single day of survival. Listen to me, Adam said. We don't negotiate with bullies. We don't make deals with those who steal children. On Earth, we have predators that eat their own young. We killed them all. The Vorsak are about to learn what happens when they threaten kids in front of humans. Another Zalathi spoke up. But how can you fight them? Our scanners show your ships are damaged and old. Their ships are new and powerful. Adam laughed. It was not a pleasant sound. Our ships are built to survive Earth's oceans, where the pressure would crush your ships like tin cans. They're built to fly through storms where the wind can rip metal apart. They're built to land on a planet where the gravity would break your bones. Your scanners can't measure what makes human ships dangerous. He cut the connection and turned to his weapons officer. Charge all weapons. Load the kinetic rounds. Prepare the nuclear torpedoes. Sir, the weapons officer said, nuclear weapons are banned by galactic law. So is harvesting children, Adam replied. I think we're past caring about laws. The human fleet moved into formation. It wasn't a pretty formation like the ones the other species used. It was rough and aggressive like a pack of wolves circling prey. Each ship knew its job without being told. Humans had been fighting in groups since before they discovered fire. On the mining ship Rockbreaker, Captain Sam Brooks checked his weapons. The ship's mining laser had been designed to cut through asteroids made of solid metal. He wondered what it would do to a Vorsak ship's hull. He was about to find out. All crew, this is the captain, Sam said over the ship's communication system. I know most of you signed up to minor, not fight wars. But those aliens out there want to take children. On Earth we have a saying, over my dead body. Today we make that saying real. The crew cheered. They were miners, not soldiers, but they were human miners. Their ancestors had survived ice ages, plagues, wars, and disasters that would have wiped out any other species. Fighting was in their DNA. On the patrol ship Vengeance, Captain Maria Rodriguez prepared her Marines. They stood in the cargo bay checking their power armor. The armor was heavy and brutal looking, designed to work in any environment from the bottom of Earth's oceans to the mountains of Mars. Listen up, Maria said to her Marines. The Vorsak think they're tough because they've never lost. They've never fought humans. They don't know what it's like to fight a species that nuked itself just to see what would happen. Today we teach them. Sergeant Kyle Brooks checked his rifle. It fired rounds at speeds that turned metal into plasma. It was based on technology humans developed to punch through tank armor. In space, it would go through a ship's hull like paper. What are the rules of engagement, Captain? Kyle asked. Maria's face was hard as stone. They came here to steal children. There are no rules. We stop them. All of them, forever. The Vorsak fleet noticed the humans gathering. Their commander appeared on every human ship's screen at once. The Vorsak were big creatures with 4 arms and bodies covered in what looked like crab shells. Their leader was even bigger than the others with scars covering his shell. I am Warlord Krex of the Vorsak Empire, he said. His voice sounded like grinding metal. You Deathworlders should leave. This is not your fight. The Zalathi owe us tribute. Half their younglings will serve the Empire. It is our way. Adam responded for the human fleet. I am Captain Adam Pierce of Earth. Your way ends today. You have one chance. Leave now and never come back. This is your only warning. Warlord Krex laughed. It sounded like stones breaking. You threaten us? We are 40. You are 15. We have conquered 100 worlds. What have you done, Deathworlder? Adam leaned forward. We survived Earth. We killed everything that tried to kill us, and everything on Earth tried to kill us. We fought wars that turned sand into glass. We split atoms to make weapons. We poisoned our own air and water and survived it. We are the species that other species have nightmares about, and you just threatened children in front of us. Then you will die with them, Krex said. Maybe, Adam said. But you'll die first. The connection ended. Space was silent for a moment. Then alarms started going off on every ship. The Vorsak were charging weapons, all ships, Adam commanded. Remember your training. They fight by rules. We fight to win. They expect a civilized battle. Give them human chaos instead. Emma looked at the tactical display. They're forming Standard Attack Pattern 7. It's in all the galactic warfare textbooks. Good, Adam said. Then they won't expect what we're about to do. All ships prepare for Tactical Pattern Earth. Let's show them how humans fight. The human ships began to move. Not in any pattern the Vorsak would recognize. They moved like predators, like hunters, like survivors of a death world. They moved like humans going to war. On every human ship, crews prepared for battle. They checked weapons that shouldn't exist. They powered up shields designed to survive Earth's lightning storms. They loaded ammunition that galactic law had banned centuries ago. The Zalathi watched from their planet, their huge eyes reflecting the lights of the gathering fleets. They had called for help from the Deathworlders. They were about to see why that name existed. They were about to see what happened when a species forged in the fires of the most dangerous planet in known space decided to protect the innocent. The battle was about to begin. 40 ships against 15, superior numbers against superior fury. The Vorsak thought they had already won. They were wrong. They had never fought humans before. They didn't know that humans had a saying. It's not the size of the dog in the fight, it's the size of the fight in the dog. And humans had more fight in them than any species in the galaxy. The first shot was about to be fired. History was about to be written. The Deathworlders were going to war. The battle started in a way that broke every rule of civilized space warfare. The human ships accelerated straight at the Vorsak fleet. No maneuvering. No tactics. Just raw, brutal speed aimed directly at the enemy. The Vorsak weapons officers couldn't believe their sensors. "They're going to ram us," one Vorsak officer said in shock. "That's suicide." Warlord Krex watched the human ships approaching. "Fire all weapons. Destroy these primitives." Laser beams and plasma bolts filled space. They hit the human ships and did almost nothing. The armor plating, designed to survive micrometeorite impacts at relativistic speeds, absorbed the energy. The hulls, built to withstand Earth's crushing ocean depths, barely noticed the pressure waves. On the Relentless, Captain Adam Pierce gripped his command chair. The ship shook from impacts but held together. "Return fire. All weapons. Show them what humans bring to a fight." The human ships opened fire. Kinetic rounds, simple chunks of metal accelerated to incredible speeds, punched through Vorsak shields like they weren't there. Nuclear torpedoes, weapons so terrible that civilized species had banned them, detonated against hulls. Electromagnetic pulse weapons fried computer systems. Lieutenant Amy Chen flew her fighter through the chaos. Her small ship danced between laser beams and explosions. She had learned to fly in Earth's atmosphere, where storms could tear wings off planes and wind shear could slam you into mountains. This was easier. "All fighters, follow my lead," Amy called to her squadron. "Remember, these aliens evolved on a paradise planet. They fly in straight lines. We fly like Earth predators. Unpredictable, dangerous, deadly." Her squadron consisted of 12 fighters, each piloted by humans who thought pulling 9Gs was normal. The Vorsak fighters tried to match their movements and failed. Alien pilots passed out from forces that human pilots considered mild. Amy locked onto a Vorsak bomber. It was heading for one of the mining ships. She fired a missile that had been illegal on Earth for 50 years. It hit the bomber and turned it into expanding gas. "One down," Amy said. "Only 39 ships to go." On the mining ship Rockbreaker, Captain Sam Brooks watched a Vorsak cruiser moving to attack. The cruiser was 3 times the size of his ship, with weapons designed for war. Sam's ship had a mining laser designed to cut asteroids. "Engineering, give me everything you've got to the mining laser," Sam ordered. "Captain, that will overload the system," his engineer replied. "I know. Do it anyway. The mining laser fired." It was designed to cut through solid rock and metal over hours of careful work. Sam used it like a sword, slashing across the Vorsak cruiser's hull. The beam cut through armor, bulkheads, and crew quarters like they were made of paper. The cruiser split in half. "Mining laser is down," the engineer reported, "but so is their cruiser." Meanwhile, Sergeant Kyle Brooks led his Marines in boarding actions. They had launched themselves through space in nothing but power armor, using small rocket packs to reach Vorsak ships. It was insane by galactic standards. It was Tuesday for human Marines. Kyle's boots magnetized to a Vorsak destroyer's hull. He placed a breaching charge against the armor. The explosion opened a hole and air rushed out. Kyle and his squad rushed in. The inside of the Vorsak ship was designed for creatures that had never known real danger. Wide corridors, bright lights, no cover. Kyle's squad moved through it like death itself. Their weapons, designed to kill Earth's most dangerous predators, tore through Vorsak soldiers. "Sergeant, we've found something," Private Nicole Adams called over comms. "It's a holding area. They already have some Zalathi children here." Kyle's rage went cold. "Secure them." Kill anyone who tries to stop you. Back in space, the battle had turned into chaos. Human ships rammed Vorsak vessels when their weapons ran out. The cargo hauler's stubborn mule, its weapons destroyed, accelerated to maximum speed and slammed into a Vorsak battleship. Both ships exploded. But the human crew had already evacuated in escape pods that were picked up by other human ships. Captain Maria Rodriguez on the Vengeance had deployed something special. Thousands of tiny drones, each no bigger than a fist, swarmed toward the Vorsak fleet. The aliens tried to shoot them down, but there were too many. "What are those things?" a Vorsak officer asked in panic. "We call them Hornets," Maria said over an open channel. "We base them on insects from Earth. Insects that can kill with a single sting. Enjoy." The drones attached to Vorsak ships and exploded. Each explosion was small, but thousands of them caused catastrophic damage. Hulls were breached. Engines failed. Life support systems died. Warlord Krex couldn't understand what was happening. His fleet was being destroyed by a smaller force. It made no sense. The humans fought without honor, without rules, without mercy. They used banned weapons. They rammed ships. They sent soldiers jumping through space. "Warlord, we've lost half our fleet," his second-in-command reported. "The humans, they don't fight like any species we've encountered. They fight like animals, and we are the Vorsak," Krex roared. "We do not lose to primitives, but they were losing." A human destroyer called Hammerfall had lost all its weapons but kept fighting. Its crew had turned the ship itself into a weapon, using its reinforced hull to literally punch holes in Vorsak ships. The pilot flew it like a battering ram, smashing through enemy formations. Captain Adam Pierce watched the battle from the Relentless. His ship had taken damage, but it was still fighting. That was the thing about human ships. They were built to take punishment that would destroy any other species' vessels. "Sir, the Vorsak flagship is trying to retreat," Emma Watson reported. "No," Adam said. "They don't get to run. They came here to steal children. They don't get to leave. All ships, focus fire on the flagship. Don't let it escape." Every human weapon that could still fire targeted the Vorsak flagship. Kinetic rounds, missiles, lasers, and things that didn't have names because humans had invented them specifically for this battle. The flagship's shields collapsed. Its armor cracked. Its engines died. On the flagship, Warlord Krex finally felt something he had never felt before. Fear. These humans didn't just want to win. They wanted to make sure the Vorsak never threatened anyone again. "Send a message," Krex ordered. "We surrender. We ask for mercy." The message reached the human fleet. Adam Pierce heard it. So did every other human captain. They remembered the message about harvesting children. They remembered why they were here. "Sir," Emma said quietly, "they're surrendering." Adam looked at the tactical display. 23 Vorsak ships were already destroyed. The remaining 17 were damaged and trying to flee. His decision would be remembered in history. "Disable their weapons and engines," Adam ordered, "but let them live. They need to carry a message back to their empire." The human fleet surgically destroyed the Vorsak ship's ability to fight or flee. Then they stopped. The battle was over. It had lasted less than 3 hours. 15 human ships had defeated 40 Vorsak warships. Lieutenant Amy Chen flew her damaged fighter past the wreckage. Pieces of Vorsak ships floated in space. Some human ships were damaged too, but they were all still functional. That was the difference. Human ships were built to survive anything. Vorsak ships were built to look impressive. Sergeant Kyle Brooks and his Marines had rescued 43 Zalathi children from Vorsak ships. The children were scared but unharmed. Kyle removed his helmet and tried to smile at them, though he knew his scarred face probably didn't help. "You're safe now," he told them. "We're taking you home." One young Zalathi, braver than the others, fluttered closer. "Are you really Deathworlders?" it asked through a translator. Kyle nodded. "Yes, but that just means we're very good at protecting people." The child's wings shimmered. "The Vorsak said Deathworlders were monsters." "We are," Kyle said honestly. "But we're monsters who protect children. There's a difference." The battlefield was quiet now. The Vorsak survivors floated in their crippled ships waiting to learn their fate. The human fleet gathered, battered but victorious. They had done something impossible. They had shown the galaxy what humans were capable of when innocents were threatened. Warlord Krex floated in his ruined command center. Half his bridge crew was dead. The other half was wounded. His mighty flagship, the Pride of Vorsak, was nothing but scrap metal drifting in space. He couldn't understand how this had happened. His species had conquered worlds for 500 years. They had never lost. Until today, his second-in-command limped over. Green blood dripped from a crack in his shell. Warlord, the humans are boarding our ships. They're searching for more captured younglings. Krex watched through a cracked display screen as human soldiers moved through his fleet's wreckage. They wore armor that looked primitive but was clearly effective. They moved like predators. No, worse than predators. Predators killed to eat. These humans killed to protect. How? Krex asked. How did we lose to 15 ships? They don't fight like civilized beings, his officer replied. They use weapons we banned centuries ago. They ram ships. They fight without honor. Krex wanted to agree, but something bothered him. He watched the humans carefully extracting Zalathi children from damaged compartments. They were gentle with the younglings, careful not to hurt them. These same humans who had just destroyed his fleet were now acting like protectors. On the human flagship Relentless, Captain Adam Pierce received reports from the boarding teams. They had found over 100 Zalathi children imprisoned on Vorsak ships. Some had been taken in earlier raids that no one had known about. Sir, Emma Watson said, we've got a problem. 3 Vorsak ships are trying to restart their engines. They might be able to jump to hyperspace. Adam's face hardened. Target their engine cores. Precision strikes only. I want them dead in space but still breathing. The Vengeance fired 3 shots. Each one hit exactly where it needed to. The Vorsak ship's engines exploded, but the crew sections remained intact. It was shooting of a level that shouldn't be possible, but humans had been practicing precision killing since they invented arrows. Sergeant Kyle Brooks and his squad had boarded the largest Vorsak battleship. The corridors were dark, lit only by emergency lights. They found Vorsak soldiers trying to destroy evidence of their raids. Stop right there, Kyle ordered, his weapon aimed at the group. The lead Vorsak turned. It was massive, even bigger than most of its species. You won. Why do you continue? Let us destroy our shame in peace. A shame? Kyle stepped forward. You feel shame now? After stealing children? We followed orders. It is our way. Kyle remembered history lessons about humans who had said the same thing. Following orders. It hadn't been an excuse then. It wasn't an excuse now, Private Adams, Kyle said. Secure those computers. We're taking all their data. You can't, the Vorsak protested. That information is classified. It contains, Kyle shot the wall next to the alien's head. It contains evidence of your crimes. We're taking it. Move and you die. Meanwhile, Amy Chen's fighter squadron had surrounded a damaged Vorsak cruiser that was trying to send a distress signal to their empire. This is Lieutenant Chen, Amy broadcast. Stop your transmission or we open fire. You would fire on a damaged ship? The Vorsak captain responded. Where is your honor? Amy laughed. It was bitter and cold. Honor? You came here to kidnap children and you want to talk about honor? Here's human honor. We protect the innocent and we destroy those who hurt them. Now cut your transmission or I'll cut your ship in half. The transmission stopped. On the Zalathi homeworld, millions of butterfly-like aliens watched the battle's aftermath on their screens. They couldn't believe what they were seeing. The terrifying Vorsak Empire, which had bullied their sector of space for centuries, had been broken by 15 human ships. The Zalathi Prime Minister fluttered nervously in the council chamber. What have we done? What have we unleashed? His advisor's wings shimmered with thought. We asked for help. We received it, but look at them. They're savages. They're using nuclear weapons. They're ramming ships. They're not even taking prisoners properly. They're just destroying. No, the advisor said, pointing at a screen. Look closer. They're rescuing our children. Every human ship has stopped fighting to help with rescue operations. They're savages, yes, but they're savages who choose to protect rather than conquer. Back in space, Captain Maria Rodriguez had brought the Vengeance alongside the Vorsak flagship. She opened a channel to Warlord Krex. Warlord, this is Captain Rodriguez. You're going to listen very carefully. Krex appeared on screen. His forearms hung limp. His proud shell was cracked. He looked defeated. What more do you want? You've won. You've destroyed us, no, Maria said. We've stopped you. There's a difference. You're going to take a message back to your empire. Every single one of your surviving ships is going to carry this message. What message? Maria leaned forward. The Zalathi are under human protection. Forever. If any Vorsak ship enters their space again, we won't stop at 15 ships. We'll bring hundreds. We'll bring our entire fleet, and we won't leave any of you alive to carry messages. You can't threaten the Empire. We just destroyed 40 warships with 15 mining vessels and cargo haulers, Maria interrupted. Imagine what we could do with actual warships. Imagine what we could do if we were really angry. Krex was silent for a moment. Why do you care about the Zalathi? They're nothing to you. Maria thought about how to explain it to an alien who had never known Earth. On our planet, we have storms called hurricanes. They destroy everything in their path. When they come, humans who are complete strangers risk their lives to save each other. We rescue people from floods. We pull them from burning buildings. We do this because that's what makes us human. The strong protect the weak, always. That makes no sense. The strong should rule the weak. And that's why you lost, Maria said. You see weakness as something to exploit. We see it as something to protect. You evolved on a planet where you were the apex predator. We evolved on a planet where everything tried to kill us. We survived by protecting each other. We became strong by defending the weak. She cut the connection. The rescued Zalathi children were being transferred to medical ships. Many of them were scared of the humans at first. These were the Deathworlders their parents had whispered about. But then they saw how gentle the huge armored soldiers were, how carefully they carried injured younglings, how they shared their food and water. One human medic, a woman named Lisa Chen, was treating a young Zalathi's injured wing. The child was crying, making sounds like broken music. I know it hurts, Lisa said softly, but you're brave. You're going home soon. The Vorsak said we would never see our parents again. The child whispered through the translator. Lisa's face went hard for a moment, then soft again. The Vorsak were wrong about a lot of things, including messing with humans when kids are involved. Captain Adam Pierce stood on his bridge watching the Vorsak fleet being prepared for their journey home. His crew had welded their ship's weapons ports shut. They had removed all ammunition. They had disabled everything except basic life support and sublight engines. It would take the Vorsak months to limp home. Sir, Emma reported, all Zalathi younglings have been recovered. 117 children saved. Adam nodded. And the Vorsak? 3,000 survivors across 17 ships. All weapons destroyed. All military equipment confiscated. They're helpless. Good. Let them know what it feels like to be helpless. Let them think about it for the entire journey home. He opened a channel to all Vorsak ships. This is Captain Pierce. You're going home now. You're going to tell your empire what happened here. You're going to tell them that humans exist, that we're watching, and that we don't tolerate those who prey on the innocent. He paused. You came here as conquerors. You're leaving as a warning. Don't make us come find you. You won't survive it. The Vorsak ships began their slow journey home. They were beaten, broken, and humiliated. The mighty Vorsak Empire had been crushed by a species they had dismissed as primitive savages. As they left, one young Vorsak officer asked Krex a question. Warlord, how do we make sure this never happens again? Krex looked at the human ships still standing guard. We stay away from anything the humans protect, and we pray to whatever gods we have that they never decide we're too dangerous to exist. The human fleet remained in formation, watching the Vorsak leave. They would stay until every enemy ship was gone. Then they would escort the Zalathi children home. Because that's what humans did. They protected those who couldn't protect themselves. And they did it without mercy for those who would do harm. 3 days after the battle, the human fleet escorted the rescued children back to the Zalathi homeworld. The planet looked like a jewel in space, blue and green with clouds that sparkled like diamonds. It was beautiful in a way Earth had never been. Earth was dangerous and harsh. This world was gentle and peaceful. Captain Adam Pierce stood with the other human captains in the Zalathi capital. The city was made of crystal structures that sang in the wind. The Zalathi had built their civilization around beauty and harmony. They had never needed walls or weapons until the Vorsak came. The Zalathi Prime Minister approached them. Its wings created rainbow patterns in the sunlight. Thousands of Zalathi had gathered to see the return of their children and to meet the Deathworlders who had saved them. We can never repay what you have done, the Prime Minister said through the translator. You risked your lives for strangers. Why? Lisa Morgan, who had received the first distress signal, stepped forward. On Earth we have a saying, it takes a village to raise a child. Your children became our responsibility the moment you asked for help. That's what humans do. We protect the village. A young Zalathi fluttered forward. It was one of the rescued children. Are you going to stay and protect us forever? Adam knelt down to be at eye level with the child. Even kneeling, he was huge compared to the delicate alien. We don't need to stay. The Vorsak won't come back. They know what happens if they do. But what if other bad species come? Adam smiled. It was a genuine smile, not the scary one he had shown the Vorsak. Then you call us, and we'll come. Every single time. The crowd of Zalathi made sounds like wind chimes. It was their way of showing emotion. Many of them were crying, their wings dripping with drops that looked like liquid silver. Later that day, the human captains met with the Zalathi council. The council chamber was a dome of clear crystal that showed the sky above. The 12 council members sat in a circle, their wings folded formally. We must discuss the future, the lead counselor said. The Vorsak will spread word of what happened here. Other species will know that we are under your protection. But they will also know that you are dangerous, that you use forbidden weapons, that you fight without rules. Captain Maria Rodriguez nodded. They're right to fear us. We are dangerous. We come from a world where mercy is a luxury. But we choose who to be dangerous to. We choose to protect instead of conquer. But why? Another counselor asked. Your species is young to space travel. You could use your strength to build an empire. Why protect others? Emma Watson answered. Because we know what it's like to be afraid. Every human child grows up on a planet that tries to kill them. We know fear intimately. We also know what it's like to have someone protect us from that fear. Our parents, our community, our species. We survived Earth by protecting each other. Now we can protect others. The galaxy will not understand, the lead counselor said. They will see you as violent primitives. Let them, Adam said. We don't need their understanding. We just need them to know that hurting innocents brings consequences. Meanwhile, the story of the battle was spreading across the galaxy like wildfire. The Vorsak survivors had reached the first relay station and were transmitting their report. Other species' intelligence services were intercepting and analyzing every detail. On the Kepler-7 mining station, Jake Sullivan was monitoring galactic communications. He called Lisa Morgan over. Commander, you need to see this. The entire galaxy is talking about us. Lisa read the messages. Some species were terrified. Others were grateful. Many were simply shocked that 15 human ships had destroyed 40 Vorsak vessels. The Vorsak Empire has issued a formal statement, Jake said. They're declaring the Zalathi system a no-go zone for all Vorsak ships. They're also warning other species about the dangers of provoking humans. Lisa laughed. Good. Let them spread the word. Back on Earth, the government was dealing with the political fallout. The human ambassador to the Galactic Council, a tall man named Peter Wright, stood before representatives of 50 different species. Ambassador Wright, the council speaker said, a being that looked like a jellyfish made of light. Your species has used banned weapons, nuclear devices, kinetic weapons, ramming attacks. These are violations of civilized warfare. Peter stood straight and proud. The Vorsak were harvesting children. Where was civilized law then? That does not excuse... It excuses everything, Peter interrupted. You want to know the difference between humans and the rest of you? We don't let rules stop us from doing what's right. We don't let laws prevent us from protecting innocence. If that makes us uncivilized, then we'll wear that label with pride. A representative from a species called the Altari spoke up. They looked like tall, thin creatures made of living metal. What if every species behaved as you do? What if everyone ignored the laws? Then maybe the Vorsak wouldn't have been terrorizing this sector for centuries while you all did nothing. Peter shot back. You had the power to stop them. You chose not to. We chose differently. The council chamber erupted in discussion. Some species were angry. Others were thoughtful. A few were quietly grateful. The Zalathi ambassador, who had remained silent, finally spoke. The humans saved our children. They asked for nothing in return. They used violence, yes, but only against those who came to do violence to us. I see no crime in that. I see heroes. Over the following weeks, something unexpected happened. Small species, weak species, species that had been victims of stronger neighbors began sending messages to Earth. They weren't asking for protection, not exactly. They were just letting humans know that they existed, that they were peaceful, that they had children too. Captain Adam Pierce, back on the Relentless, received one such message. It was from a species called the Quen, insect-like beings who lived in hive cities. Their message was simple. We have heard of the Deathworlders who protect younglings. We want you to know we exist. We want you to know we are peaceful. We want you to know we have younglings too. Adam showed it to Emma. They're not asking for help. They're just making sure we know about them. Emma understood. They're hoping that if trouble comes, we'll remember them. They're putting themselves under our informal protection just by making contact. Should we respond? Yes, tell them we know they exist. Tell them we know about their younglings. That's all we need to say. They'll understand. The Vorsak Empire, meanwhile, was in chaos. The survivors of the battle had returned home and told their story. The Empire's warrior culture couldn't accept that they had been defeated by a smaller force, but the evidence was undeniable. Warlord Krek stood before the Empire's Supreme Council. His shell was still cracked from the battle. He had refused to have it repaired. He wore his defeat as a reminder. You lost to 15 ships? The Supreme Warlord asked. You had 40 of our finest vessels. They don't fight like us, Krex explained.
They don't fight like anyone.
They fight like cornered animals. No worse. Cornered animals fight to escape. Humans fight to obliterate threats. They are just one species. We could send hundreds of ships. Krex shook his head. And they would send thousands. You don't understand. They enjoy war. Their entire history is violence. They nuked themselves before they reached space. They poisoned their own planet and survived. They are not like us. We evolved as predators. They evolved as survivors. There's a difference. What do you recommend? Stay away from them. Stay away from anything they protect. Pray they never decide we're a threat that needs to be eliminated. The Supreme Council was quiet for a long moment. Then the Supreme Warlord spoke. Issue the decree. No Vorsak ship is to go within 10 light-years of any human-protected space. Any violation will result in execution of the ship's commander. On the Zalathi homeworld, a monument was being built. It was made of crystal and metal, designed to last forever. It showed 15 human ships standing against 40 enemies. At its base, written in every known language, were the words, "They called for help." The Deathworlders answered without mercy. Young Zalathi learned the story in school. They learned about the humans who came from a world of death and chose to bring life. They learned that being strong meant protecting the weak. They learned that sometimes violence in defense of innocence was not just acceptable but necessary. Captain Lisa Morgan visited the monument on its completion day. She stood with hundreds of Zalathi, looking at the artistic representation of the battle. A Zalathi teacher approached her with a group of younglings. Children, this is one of the humans who saved you. The children's wings fluttered with excitement. One brave youngling asked, Were you scared? Lisa thought about it. No, we were angry. Someone was trying to hurt children. That made us angry. And there's nothing in the galaxy scarier than angry humans protecting kids. Will you always protect us? Always, Lisa said without hesitation. That's a human promise. And humans keep their promises. As the years passed, the legend grew. Species across the galaxy told stories of the Deathworlders. Some stories were fearful warnings about the violent humans. Others were hopeful tales of protection and salvation. Pirates and raiders learned to check their targets carefully. Was this species under human protection? Even the possibility was enough to make them choose different prey. New agreements were made. Humanity didn't create an empire. They created something else.